In the year 2033, a fictionalized America lies in tatters, ravaged by a fungal pandemic known as Cordyceps. Cities once teeming with life are now overgrown relics, reclaimed by nature and haunted by bloodthirsty creatures born of infection. This is the setting of The Last of Us, a video game series developed by Naughty Dog that redefined the action-adventure genre and emerged as a cultural touchstone of the 21st century. More than a tale of survival, it is a profound exploration of love, loss, and redemption, told through the journey of Joel, a hardened smuggler, and Ellie, a teenage girl who holds the key to humanity's salvation. This is the chronicle of how The Last of Us came to be, its evolution, and its enduring legacy in gaming and beyond. To understand the genesis of The Last of Us, we must first journey to the origins of Naughty Dog, a small California-based studio founded in 1984 as Jam Software. In the 1990s, Naughty Dog rose to prominence with Crash Bandicoot, a vibrant platformer that became an unofficial mascot for Sony's PlayStation console. The success of Crash established Naughty Dog as a key player in Sony's burgeoning gaming empire, but the studio's ambitions soon outgrew the light-hearted antics of their marsupial hero. By the early 2000s, Naughty Dog pivoted to Jak and Daxter, a series that blended adventure with richer storytelling and technical innovation. This shift laid the groundwork for the studio's future, emphasizing narrative depth and cinematic presentation. In 2007, Uncharted, Drake's fortune catapulted Naughty Dog to new heights, introducing a swashbuckling hero, Nathan Drake, in a game that married Hollywood-style action with compelling character development. The 2009 sequel, Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, was a critical and commercial triumph, earning perfect scores and cementing Naughty Dog's reputation as a master of cinematic gaming. During this period, two figures emerged as pivotal to the studio's next chapter. Bruce Straley, a veteran artist who had worked on Crash Team Racing and Jak and Daxter, and Neil Druckmann, a young programmer with a passion for storytelling. Druckmann, armed with a master's degree in entertainment technology from Carnegie Mellon University, brought a fresh perspective, blending technical expertise with narrative ambition. Their collaboration, supported by Naughty Dog's talented team, set the stage for a project that would push the boundaries of interactive storytelling. In 2009, as Uncharted 2 dominated the gaming landscape, Naughty Dog split its resources to pursue two projects. One team focused on Uncharted 3, while Straley and Druckmann led a second team to explore a new intellectual property, codenamed Project Thing. The seeds of The Last of Us were sown years earlier, during Druckmann's time at Carnegie Mellon. In 2003, he entered a game design contest, judged by legendary filmmaker George A. Romero, pitching a story about a former convict and a teenage girl navigating a zombie apocalypse, inspired by Night of the Living Dead and ICO. Though the pitch didn't win, it lingered in Druckmann's mind. Straley and Druckmann sought to create a post-apocalyptic narrative that stood apart from the saturated zombie genre. Instead of a virus, they drew inspiration from a BBC documentary on Cordyceps, a real-world fungus that hijacks the nervous systems of insects. This concept became the backbone of the game's pandemic, offering a chillingly unique premise. The story centered on Joel, a smuggler scarred by loss, and Ellie, a 14-year-old girl immune to the infection, as they traversed a ravaged America in search of a cure. The world of The Last of Us was meticulously crafted, drawing from diverse influences. Alan Wiseman's The World Without Us informed the environmental design, depicting cities overtaken by nature. Works like Cormac McCarthy's The Road, the Coen brothers' No Country for Old Men, and David Benioff's City of Thieves shaped the game's minimalist, tension-driven storytelling, focusing on the evolving bond between Joel and Ellie. The team also studied real-world fungal infections, collaborating with scientists to ensure the Cordyceps threat felt plausible. Character design was equally deliberate. Joel's early concepts resembled Josh Brolin's character in No Country for Old Men, but he evolved into an older, grizzled figure with short, messy hair, distinct from Uncharted's Nathan Drake. Ellie was crafted to embody innocence tempered by resilience, her independence setting her apart from typical escort characters. The infected underwent numerous redesigns, with early versions featuring tentacles before settling on fungal growths that were both grotesque and grounded in reality. Technologically, Naughty Dog overhauled the Uncharted 2 engine, enhancing lighting systems for natural bounce effects and developing advanced AI to make enemies feel alive. Motion capture was integral, with actors Troy Baker, Joel, and Ashley Johnson, Ellie, delivering performances simultaneously recorded for voice and movement, ensuring authenticity. Composer Gustavo Santaolall's score, featuring the Ron Rocco, added a haunting, percussive backdrop that mirrored the game's emotional highs and lows. On the 14th of June, 2013, The Last of Us launched launched exclusively for the PlayStation 3, marking a seismic moment in gaming history. Set in 2033, the game depicts a United States crippled by the Cordyceps outbreak. The government, under the Federal Disaster Response Agency, FEDRA, establishes oppressive quarantine zones, executing anyone suspected of infection. Beyond the walls, infected roam freely, while groups like the Hunters prey on the vulnerable. Players control Joel, a smuggler in Boston's quarantine zone, tasked with escorting Ellie to the Fireflies, a rebel group seeking a cure. Their cross-country journey through decaying cities, Boston, Pittsburgh, Salt Lake City's a narrative of survival and connection, exploring themes of love, redemption, and the cost of hope in a brutal world. The gameplay of The Last of Us is a masterful blend of stealth, action, and survival. Players scavenge for resources like bricks, pipes, and duct tape to craft weapons such as Molotov cocktails, nail bombs, and shivs. The AI is remarkably sophisticated, with enemies coordinating attacks, flanking, and reacting dynamically to the player's actions. Ellie is not a passive companion. She assists by throwing distractions, spotting enemies, or even attacking, creating a sense of partnership. Sound design is a cornerstone of the experience, with footsteps and enemy breathing serving as tactical cues. Players can use a listen mode to visualize nearby threats through walls, enhancing stealth mechanics. The infected, ranging from fast-moving runners to blind, echolocating clickers and armored bloaters, demand varied strategies, heightening tension. The Last of Us was a critical and commercial triumph, selling over 1 million copies in its first week and earning over 200 awards, including Game of the Year from IGN. Baker and Johnson's performances were lauded for their emotional depth, while the game's visuals pushed the PS3 to its limits. The multiplayer mode, Factions, surprised players with its tactical 4v4 gameplay, where resource management and team coordination were key. In 2014, The Last of Us remastered for PS4 enhanced visuals, boosted frame rates to 60 FPS, and included the Left Behind DLC, which explored Ellie's friendship with Riley, and earned praise for its LGBTQ representation. Following the success of the first game, Naughty Dog embarked on The Last of Us Part 2, released on the 19th of June, 2020 for PS4. Set years after the original, the game finds Joel and Ellie in Jackson, Wyoming, a seemingly idyllic community. However, the outside world grows more perilous, with infected evolving into new forms like the Shambler and factions like the WLF and Seraphites waging war over dwindling resources. Players primarily control Ellie, now 19, on a quest for vengeance in Seattle after a devastating event. The game introduces Abby, a playable character who serves as both ally and antagonist, offering a dual perspective on morality and violence. Part 2 shifts the thematic focus from love to hatred, challenging players to confront the consequences of revenge and the cyclical nature of conflict. Gameplay is significantly expanded, with larger, more open environments like downtown Seattle encouraging exploration. New mechanics include crawling, dodging, and rope-based traversal, inspired by Uncharted 4. The AI is even more advanced, with enemies using faction-specific tactics. WLF deploys dogs to track players, while Seraphites ambush with bows. The crafting system is refined, with distinct items for Ellie, for example, explosive arrows, and Abby, for example, incendiary shotgun shells, reflecting their personalities. Part 2 was polarizing due to its bold narrative choices and pacing. A pre-release leak of key plot points sparked backlash, with some fans criticizing the story's direction and inclusivity. Despite this, the game received over 320 Game of the Year awards, lauded for its stunning visuals, performances by Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey, Abby, and gameplay innovations. It became the fastest-selling PS4 exclusive, surpassing titles like God of War and Marvel's Spider-Man. In September 2022, The Last of Us Part 1, a full remake of the original, launched for PS5. Leveraging Part 2's technology, it featured 4K visuals, improved lighting, and subtle gameplay enhancements like immersive workbench animations and direct note reading. Accessibility was a priority, with options for colorblind players and haptic dialogue feedback via the DualSense controller. However, the $70 price and absence of factions drew criticism. The 2023 PC port, developed with Iron Galaxy, launched in a troubled state, plagued by long shader compilation times and CPU bottlenecks. Subsequent patches improved performance, earning Steam Deck verification, but the PS5 version remained the definitive experience. Concurrently, HBO's The Last Last of Us series, premiered in January 2023. Co-written by Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, starring Pedro Pascal as Joel and Bella Ramsey as Ellie. The show faithfully adapted the game's narrative, recreating iconic scenes while expanding character arcs, such as Bill and Frank's relationship and Sam's use of sign language. The Cordyceps infection was reimagined with tendrils, aligning with fungal biology. Universally acclaimed, the series shattered stereotypes about video game adaptations, with Pascal and Ramsey earning praise for their nuanced performances. The Last of Us is more than a game. It is a cultural phenomenon that reshaped interactive storytelling. Its influence is evident in titles like God of War 2018, which adopted a similar focus on familial bonds. The HBO series proved games could inspire mature, faithful adaptations, paving the way for future projects. Naughty Dog is currently developing a standalone multiplayer game set in the Last of Us universe, inspired by live service titles like Escape from Tarkov. However, its scope has been reduced to prioritize a new single-player project, possibly a fresh IP with fantasy or sci-fi elements. Druckmann has stated that Part 2 concluded Joel and Ellie's story, but a third installment remains possible, especially with HBO planning additional seasons. From a 2003 student pitch to a global franchise, The Last of Us stands as a testament to the power of storytelling in games. It is not merely a zombie tale, but a meditation on humanity, forgiveness, and resilience. Its legacy, spanning consoles, screens, and hearts, ensures its place in the annals of cultural history.